The theory of the elasticity of the human mind states that the mind has the capacity to expand to any limit as long as the right amount of pressure is applied on it, monitored and is consistent over time. The mind is not limited to one aspect alone. It can be multi-dimensional and multitasking at the same time. According to Thomas A. Edison, the most necessary task of civilization is to teach people how to think. It should be the primary focus of our schools. The problem with our education is that it does not give elasticity to the mind. It casts the brain into a mold and insists that the child must accept. It does not encourage original thoughts or reasoning as it lays more emphasis on memory than observation. What the mind of man can conceive and believe, he can achieve. Napoleon Hill says, the mind develops through exercise. Give the human the opportunity to work on itself and develop, and you will see the outcome of the society. The mind is a box that you decide what you fill it with and the extent to which it can be useful. There is no fool or dullard anywhere, there are simply minds that were neither processed nor refined and did not pass through adequate amount of pressure to be what it wants to be. Charles Caleb Colton said there is elasticity in the human mind capable of bearing much, but will not show itself until a certain weight of affliction be placed on it. To each, there is a measure of affliction the mind can bear. The human mind is a channel through which things to be come into the realm of things that are. Henry Ford. All things are possible if the mind can just conceive it. It is the mind that creates all things visible and invisible. As long as it exists in the mind, it will materialize. But if the mind cannot conceive it, it cannot be. All things exist out of imaginations. The eyes see only what the mind is prepared to comprehend. Martin Luther King said, as long as the mind is enslaved, the body cannot be free. Psychological freedom, a firm sense of esteem, is the most powerful weapon against slavery. The mind changes things. Mandela, the great hero of the world, was imprisoned by the leaders of the apartheid regime and inflicted with a lot of pains to break him, but it was not possible because his mind refused to break, rather with every affliction, expanded the more. He was able to in his mind, conceive an idea of a liberated South Africa that is united. All other externalities could not affect that idea. So strong is the power of a made-up mind. The empire of a future are the empires of the mind. What you think can actually change your brain, erasing self-defeating beliefs and replacing them with positive new beliefs, according to neuroscientist Jeffrey Schwartz, who writes that altering the way you think can alter the biology of the brain. Neuroscientists like Schwartz now believe that learning, including the formation of negative beliefs about you, involves the creation of new neuronal patterns within the brain. However, neuroscientists point out these patterns are not indelible like the grooves on an old-fashioned phonograph record. Instead, they are more like the electromagnetic patterns on a computer disk that can be repeatedly and endlessly modified. Whatever you are today, whatever you believe or don't believe about yourself, is modifiable. Your skills and knowledge, your beliefs about your capabilities, none of this is etched in stone. It is completely open to transformation. Since your older beliefs are much larger mental files, it can take some time before new beliefs become automatic and replace those that may be holding you back. Repetition, Longo says, will engrave your beliefs, conscious thoughts, onto your subconscious mind. Once your subconscious mind has been programmed with positive beliefs about yourself, it will convert those positive beliefs into the reality that you desire. How then do I put into full use this great treasure? Feed it. The mind grows by what it feeds on, what it is constantly beholding, what life throws at it, the experiences that it passes through, the pressures that it overcomes, the opportunities that it embraces, the exercises that it undergoes. If you must make your mind strong, you must give it strong food. Henry Ward Beecher stated that he is the happiest man who is engaged to a business which tasks the most faculties of his mind. At most, people use less than 10% of the abilities of their mind in a lifetime. Others do not even know the power of their minds and its capabilities, either because they knew but didn't try or they never knew at all. The mind is like a garden of inestimable value that man should strive to cultivate, and it works in such a way that even if you do not cultivate it, it still produces, but you will not be happy with what it will give you. It is like the soil that produces whether cultivated or not. When the soil is cultivated, it yields fruits that are beneficial to the person and the society at large, but when a soil is left fallow, it also produces but thistles and thorns that are detrimental to the individual and becomes a nuisance to the society. The question then remains, which seed have you been planting on your mind thus far? How fallow has your mind been? Can you say you've effectively utilized your mind? It is your responsibility to cultivate that mind and make it useful.